Kicking it with Kay and Clay. Kicking it with Kay and Clay. Kicking it with Kay and Clay. Kicking it with Kay and Clay.
Hey, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in to Kicking It with Kay and Clay. I am your girl, Kay Marie. And we have another great series for you this month, the month of February. I hope you guys enjoyed the series, the relationship series. In January, we had some great guests on. We had some great topics. So if you missed that, you can always go back and listen to those. But today, again, we're kicking off a new series this month, and it's the wedding series. We know that planning a wedding can be kind of stressful to a lot of people. So we're going to just be tackling everything about, different wedding hacks and how you can cut costs and everything like that. So today we have a wedding planner, hiring her for to be my wedding planner because your girl not doing nothing. Okay. I just want to show up pretty much. That's all. All right, y'all. So before I bring her on, you know the deal. We are going to introduce her, okay? So, Whitney Gilbert is an influencer. She's a life coach and an event planner. She co-owns Royal Expectations. They cover everything from social events, weddings, bar mitzvahs, corporate gatherings, and nonprofit events. Their motto is we plan, we coordinate, we design, and decorate, making sure that every event is royal and meeting all of your expectations. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to welcome you, Whitney. Hey, Whitney, how are you?
Good evening. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Off camera, just saying how, I'm a little tired today. I
Oh,
hardly got any sleep. But I did catch up though. I did catch up, on some sleep. I got a few hours. So, and
okay.
then, later on, so I can be snatched for this wedding, I gotta go to my little twerk cardio exercise class.
Okay.
And for those you're like, what? If you live in the Metro Detroit area, you guys know that I have like not a spin-off show, but like another segment of the show called Kicking It with Kay After Dark. And that is on Facebook. It's a Facebook group where we just talk about more mature content. And I had the owner of the pole fitness studio that I go to. So you might want to check that out. Okay. But Whitney, like I was telling everyone, I know planning a wedding can be stressful. We all seen Bridezilla, you know.
Mhm.
I know you've dealt with your fair share of some Bridezillas.
And mothers-in-laws and mothers,
Oh,
those are my, yeah.
okay, yeah, we're gonna get into that. Okay. So just a little background. Just tell the folks, just a little background in this area. Like, how long have you been doing special events and planning events?
Probably since we started our company in 2017. That's when there's three of us. It's three young ladies. That is myself, and two other business partners, my sister and my best friend. We decided to go into business together, and we created a name. We are all certified, um, and we've been doing it since 2017. I was doing it before then, before I got certified. So I was
Hmm.
doing probably before that, um, maybe about 3, 4 years, and
Okay.
then my mom was just like, "Okay, well, what you gonna do? You gonna figure this out? You gonna
Right.
you gotta figure something out." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna look it out." And I went to get certified, so I went and got certified, and here I am today doing multiple events, dealing with such as you said, bridezillas and mothers and all that type of stuff.
So before we get into that, you say you are in business, and everyone that's watching, I just put up her contact information, and those who are in the Metro Detroit area, you can contact Whitney at her telephone number 313-565-1090, or you can go to on Instagram at Royal Expectations and Facebook Royal Expectations LLC. And if you want to get in contact with them, you can email them at Royal Expectations LLC 17 at gmail.com. You're going to want to hire her, after you hear everything. I know she's good at what she do. So all right. So so how is it working with your sister and your best friend?
um Most people would think that it's not good, but it actually works out for us. So the thing is that I can do everything as far as
Okay.
start your contracts. I meet with the clients. We go over, plans as far as what you want to do. If you want to, partial plan, full on planner, or day of coordinator. But then we have two other, like I said, my other co-partners, whereas my best friend is um, she is more decor side. So she has a vision. She knows, I can throw something at her and her creative juice to start flowing.
Wow.
That's her area.
Okay.
So she's that. And then my sister is more so lead work. You tell her we need this, this, and this. She's dropping what she's doing that. So when we
Okay.
have like a day of or the day of the wedding, my sister is doing all the odds and ends, or doing a lot of running. So things like a lot of things happen, of course, the day of weddings where people don't expect them to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I've had weddings where if it could happen, it happened.
Oh wow. Wow. Like what? Give us some examples. What happened at that one?
um, so I think I was hired for a partial. No,
Mm-hmm.
that was actually, yeah, it was like a partial. So a partial is basically a person is wanting to do majority of it themselves, and then they have a planner come in to help them assist them halfway through.
Okay.
Um, which is what I did. So when she, said that she had all of these things that she's done, she gave some stuff to the groom,
Uh-huh.
and his follow through wasn't the best. So like the day of the wedding, we are getting to go downtown because they were getting married downtown.
Mm-hmm.
But we get going downtown, and the transportation dropped them off, and then I'm checking to see like, okay, when does the transportation come back? And he's like, oh, they're not coming back. I said, so how are you going to get home?
Right.
That was the case. There was miscommunication with the venue, so they didn't see their contract from the person that signed it, or the person that was there before them. So they thought that the reception was supposed to end 2 hours early. They turned on all the lights, so which
Oh.
means that everyone assumed that this is over when lights come on. So half of their guests are leaving. I'm
Oh.
running to find the person that turned on the lights. They're like, "Oh, well, it's not my job. Someone just told me to turn it on." I'm like, "No, you need to turn them off." And at that point, a wedding planner is supposed to just take your stress away. You are not
Yeah.
supposed to deal with any of that. So at this point, I am warden. So I'm like, "Okay, well, you're not gonna do it. I'm gonna shut them off." So I just went and shut them off. Find whoever it is later, and I'll talk to them. So shut them off, and then I went to find that person. Um, Bartender was supposed to be booked by the groom. He got the bartender. They don't have liquor.
Wait, what? So wait. So the bartender shows up, right?
I
But they don't have
said,
the liquor. So that they thought it was going to be there already?
yes. So that is supposed to be done. And it was a lot of like, and these were people that I knew them because I was in the class because I ballroom too. So this is my
Yeah.
ballroom instructor. So I took on like, okay, I'll do your plan. And it still was a payment and everything. So I took them as
Yeah.
regular clients. But the thing was, I trusted his word, and that
Mm,
one time I'll never do it
yeah.
again. Because
Yeah.
that's normally not how I operate, anyways. Because normally I ask to see all the contracts from whoever we
Yeah.
did, so I know like this is from this person, this is from this person. Whereas that one, I knew him for so long, so I was just like, oh, I trusted you because I assumed that you had this together.
Wow.
No, so like, yeah, it was just runner was missing. We trying to find the runner because one of the cousins was in charge of the runner. So I'm running through the thing like literally minutes before the bride is supposed to walk down the aisle. Yeah, so I found it. I run back out. This is all things that people don't see. So you can see
Yeah.
a whole
Right.
show in the front. You don't know
Right.
what chaos going on in the back.
Right.
But sometimes, a lot of times, I had a bride that didn't show up for 2 hours. I thought she might have said forget the wedding. I'm like, maybe she. And they asked me. I'm like, maybe she did say she don't want to do it. Like I talked to her yesterday. I've had So
Wow. So I know
I
you have like a whole bunch of stories, girl. I know.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So let's get into like, so somebody's looking at this and was like, well, maybe they're like in the middle of planning a wedding, or they're about to, and they're thinking about maybe hiring a planner. So can you just, again, I know you briefly touched on it, but can you just like kind of break it down a little bit more about the different services? You said like the full shebang, which is I'm about to do. I'm doing the full shebang. Like I said, I don't want to do anything,
Kay
you know.
said, baby, Kay said, I'm not doing it. I don't care what you said. I'm not doing it.
She not doing that. No.
She's
But
not. Me, her is not doing it.
right.
So no. So yes, the difference in services is that so you have a full on planner. You have someone that full on planner is going to do everything for you. So you can take things from the bride and groom that say, oh well, like so such as yourself, I was usually like, oh, I want to use these two places. I like these
Mm-hmm.
places. Okay, well you gave recommendations here. But at that point I am going to ask like, if there's something else that you think another venue.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll locate the venues for you. They talk to all of your vendors for you. They sign pretty much all the contracts. They transfer payments, through the vendors that you're going to utilize. They are the person, the liaison between you and your contractors
Mm-hmm.
or vendors. So they just plan everything from start to finish. And first and foremost, a planner is supposed to take the stress off of the bride and groom. They should not have to feel any stress. We're a stress reliever at the end of the day. That's
Right.
what
Look,
we.
I have seen some weddings and heard some stuff where I'm like, wait, the planner can't be panicking too, like with the bride. You know what I'm
No.
saying? It's like, what in the
You
world?
are supposed to, even if you are panicking, you are supposed to be calm. Like I
Right,
said,
no, right, yeah. Like you're not
yeah,
supposed to be, you and the bride not supposed to be crying, so
no,
yeah.
I don't want to though, because before I've gotten and just to jump back into that, but before I got into this, I worked with planners because I wanted to get hands-on experience. So
Yeah.
I went and worked with planners, saying, "Hey, at times I'm like, I don't want a payment. My payment is me getting a job later on in life that,
Yeah.
what I'm saying, to build my own
Yeah.
business. I'm working with people. So it's planners I don't work with. I'm like, they good. And then I learn from people that are planners and I'm like, that is what I'm not gonna do when I do get my
Mm,
business.
mhm.
So jump back over there, but it is so full on, then you have partial, which is that bridal couple will take part, and then whatever they have booked as far as maybe their DJs or the venue location. So they took some things and then they brought it to you, and then you're going to review the contracts, and you're going to still reach out to those vendors and talk to them, and you're going to meet them halfway in between them starting the planning process, and then from your part on out to the
Mhm.
wedding date. And then you have day of coordinators. And day of coordinators come in and you've already planned everything. And they pretty much come in and see your vision out. Now they do review contracts as well because they have to talk to your vendors and all that stuff like that.
Mhm.
But they just pretty much see out the vision that you have. So they come and do everything that day. A lot of times with the day of coordinators, they usually meet with you about a month or so before or something
Okay.
like that. But they tend to just take whatever you already booked and
And just roll with
foresee your
the vision.
and foresee your vision. Now sometimes those can be a little, I'm not gonna say a little, sometimes those are harder to work with.
Mm. I can
Be
imagine. So
yeah,
you
be
coming on and it's like they already, yeah, I can imagine that.
and then a lot of times these stuff is not loose ends is left
Yeah.
loose, or
Yeah.
yeah. So those tend to be a little harder when you work with the day of. So yep.
Okay. So I think I was reading an article when they were talking about like the main three stressors in planning a wedding is the guest list, venue, and it said just getting everything done. Would you
Yeah.
agree with that? Would you add to that?
No, that sounds about right. So I always tell, because I also work for um another company that is that I do planning for, like my daytime job,
Hmm.
and um I'm not a coordinator there. I am a sales manager, but I act as a coordinator until up until the day of the wedding somewhat.
Hmm.
So um I when I meet people, I never consider myself a salesperson anyways, but when I meet people, I pretty much just tell them like the ins and out before they even book. So I'm like, hey, if you don't book my location, it's fine. You don't book my location, but make sure you book a venue somewhere. Because
Hmm.
once you book your venue, everything else will fall into place. You'll
Mm.
find your chair vendors, your whatever it is, your linen, your floral, all that stuff will fall into place. But your vendor, to me, I mean, your venue, that's your top priority, is that you find a venue first. Because all those other things is it's easy, but dates tend to go quickly. A lot of people get
Yeah.
the same dates, a lot of time frames. Like big weddings tend to happen between, I'm not going to say April because April tends to be a lot of open. It's May until October. Those are
Okay.
busy months. Those are busy months. But I would
Okay.
say those are three factors for sure.
Okay. So what? Okay. So somebody that's on a budget, um, how do you suggest that they would save, or like what's good to cut corners and what's not good to cut corners?
Well, I guess it would depend on their vision, like what they're looking to do. Like I have to ask, like what's big to that person.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my question to them. So, is decor big to you? You know, is the venue, because you might really want this elaborate wedding, but is it do you are you wanting to supply food for your, like, do you want to do buffet style, is it a plated? So it's all a lot of factors that goes into that.
Mm-hmm.
um some people want roses for their wedding. Well, you may not have rose money, we need to go carnation style. So we need something that looks like a rose, like we
Right.
can, it's loopholes and stuff, but big, we have, and floral is a big
Mm.
expense in a wedding. That's a very, very big expense in a wedding, and people don't think that it is. But floral is very expensive.
See,
So,
I'm not a flower girl at all. I do
see,
not like. Mm.
so I know, because I think we looked at it. It's like one flower. That's all we need. One big flower. I don't care about nothing else. Throw some cantaloupes.
Right. Now let me get one big mom. No, I'm kidding.
So yes, for floral people, they have. I mean, you can have a centerpiece that's $300 for one centerpiece,
Mm.
and that's, like, that's bare minimum sometimes. So it
Mm-hmm.
really depends on what the person is looking to do. Like I said, it could be, they may want, like I said, the venue might be a big thing for them or something like that. So then they can cut on the side of, okay, well, we're not going to do a plated meal because plated meals tend to be more expensive and buffets are a
Mm-hmm.
little more cost efficient. Um, but like this year is a little different because a lot of
I
venues don't,
know.
they don't want to do buffet because that is because of COVID. So
Yeah.
now you gotta factor in that too. So it really depends. I can't answer the question directly just
Yeah.
because it depends on each individual person.
Okay. But I mean, it is possible to
Oh
have
yeah.
yeah, to have a what's the saying? To have like a champagne wedding on a beer budget.
Yep. Because there's a lot of people that got champagne takes with beer money.
Right. And not imported, domestic.
Not right.
Um
Not the
so
not the
I know you
fancy stuff.
mentioned, girl, I know you mentioned COVID. Um How has that been? Like the vendors and the venues with people with the uncertainty. Like, is it a little
Um,
bit more? It could be a little bit more stressful. I would imagine.
it can be. And this is the thing. Like a lot of venues don't really know the guidelines.
Mm.
So they're a lot of times they're still running at what they're supposed to do and
Mm.
what they were beforehand. I know that prior to me, in the was it July, my brother's birthday, we had to do an event and
Okay.
I did all of the centerpieces and everything for him. And my sister-in-law, she was pregnant at the time, but she just was like, well, should we go through with it? Should we not? Like, I don't want to get anybody sick. I was like, at this point we done put money down, we done did all this stuff. Like the person, whoever's coming, they're gonna come because they want to. But
Yeah.
to say I would talk to the venue, and my mom was like, "Well, do they know? Have what are they saying about COVID?" I'm like, "Well, I don't work there, so I they not following no guidelines. They just basically was booking, and then I guess because of the orders were so different for each venue or each thing, it was hard for them to follow. But for me, dealing with different vendors, a lot of them were very accommodating with different couples with switching their dates or something like that. Then there were some people that weren't so accommodating and
Mm.
wasn't giving back, deposits or saying that you got to book within so many months and stuff like that, which is hard because
Yeah,
you
it
just don't
is.
know the uncertainty of it. You just don't know. So, um, but it is the vendors that I've talked to have been very accommodating to the bridal couples, which is a plus because, like I said, I deal with on my daytime job. I also deal with brides, and everybody I've talked to is like, "Oh my God, you've been so accommodating," because I'm a venue there, and they're like, "You just been, you've been answering emails," and that's another thing, communication with people. You
Mm-hmm.
know, at least if you're responding within 24 to 72 hours, like, or that is a plus because that's what they're looking for is communication because that's hard for people as well because they
Yeah.
don't if they're not hearing anything it's like well I don't know what happened like are they not doing it anymore or so
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So have you seen an increase of more outside venues or outside ceremonies, or you haven't really seen a change?
No, that is a lot of outside people are
Hmm.
picking because a lot of times you see bridal couples that have a lot of elderly guests or
Yeah.
people with illnesses or something like that have compromising immune systems. So they are looking for a lot of venues that are outside. But also with that as well is that if you had like 2022 for some venues are already booking up fast, but you have a lot of 2021 is there's a very few minimum that's still available for certain things, but all your 2020 weddings went to 2021. So
Yeah.
with the
Mhm.
exception, yeah, with the exception of some people that said, "Well, we just gonna go to the courthouse. I'm not about to
Right.
move up the day." Like, which it's cool too. You at the end of the day, you go to be married, so on paper, but
Yeah.
you wanna you're waiting to do your reception. So, but yes, a lot of people have tried to move to some outside spaces, such as just like the restaurants and stuff. A lot of places have put up tents just so they can accommodate
Yeah.
weddings and stuff like that. Yeah,
Wow. So what is a good time frame to plan a wedding? I know people, I know
a year
people
out.
say this. Mm.
Not just because that's a lot of people like, oh yeah, it literally takes 365 days to
Yeah, but
plan a
that's I
wedding.
think that's if you having like a big wedding. Like if you
That
like what
is.
yeah.
So that's what I was gonna, go into. So to start off, if it's going to be something like elaborate and a lot of details are gonna go into
Uh-huh.
factors, yes, 365 days because people will try to cram 6 months, 3 months, which is doable,
Yeah.
but it's when you got a lot of factors in there, there's bound to be something that may be missed or something like that. But if you're doing on a not such a grand scheme and you're more scaled back, scaled down and, more laid back, because I have bridal couples that's just really simple and don't need all the extraness
Yeah.
or, they just, at
Hmm.
the end of the day, it's, I want to be married, but I want
Yeah.
to, celebrate it with my family. So with that, I'm going to say if it's not a year, then it's on a lower scale, or not lower scale, but scale back. Your
Mm-hmm.
6 months is good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good time frame.
Okay. So what other like wedding advice would you give um potential brides and grooms that's planning and mothers-in-laws and mothers? 'Cause I know they some of them are included in that process, whether they were asked or not.
Exactly. Um, I would say that um, when planning a wedding and people ask, what is your budget, they need to have a number in mind, a budget number. A lot of people don't understand what the word budget is. That is what you can spend today. So, and that's just honest, because a lot of people like, I don't know, or something like that. It's what you can take on, like be realistic with yourself. Some people
Mhm.
really come and then they have, well, they say $20,000. That not may not be your role or your ministry. You might want to come back. And so you might want to bring it back.
Yeah.
So, good wedding, a wedding can be planned and be at 10,000 or
Mhm.
5,000 or seven.
Mhm.
Like, you don't have to spend all the extra money. There's loopholes and things that you can do. Um, I'm gonna say, like, with weddings, make sure that it's okay to get advice from you know family and mothers and mother-in-laws, but make sure at the end of the day it's a bride and groom,
Mhm.
his and hers. And a lot of times I meet couples and the woman will exclude the man. And I'm like, you're both getting married at the end of the day. So I like to hear from both sides. Whether you're a minimum speaker or not,
Yeah, 'cause I know
you
like
are.
some men like my fiance, he was like he don't really care about that. He just like I he don't get excited about it. Like 'cause that's not what he just want to just the day of like
Yeah.
he don't want to
But
do it.
and I get that too. I've had men that has planned the wedding, the entire wedding too, which was weird for
Mm,
me,
yeah,
because I just never dealt with a man on that level before, but I've had it, done. But okay, such as Clay he's not he doesn't care much about it, but he has probably some say so, like like a little bit, or I like this DJ, like I like this place,
yeah,
like I want to hear whatever that is at the end of the day, both of
yeah.
now mothers and mother-in-law, like when a person signs a contract to me, I deal with that person and that person only. No offense to a mother, a cousin, sister, or brother, they don't call shots when I sign a contract with whoever I'm signing a contract, unless you have came to me and says this is what this person is to do this, then we go from there. But that's what I would just say, that keep it to a minimum and keep the bride and groom as your, take advice. You can take advice from people, but make sure it's just bride and groom.
Okay, all right. So before we go and wrap up, what is the most elaborate wedding you done, and what's the most like scale back wedding you've done?
Most elaborate. Are we talking what price range or?
I mean, that can be included. This price range, the type, of wedding it was, like how grandiose it was.
I mean, I've done a wedding where they've done everything from throne chairs to uplighting to a huge floral wreath that went across the doors.
Yeah.
Um, they've had, as you're walking, you're lined with a bunch of what is it, flower pillars all the way down, and tables
Oh wow.
has 6 foot centerpieces on them. Yes, it's beautiful, but
Yeah.
it's a lot. Probably that probably cost about, all together with everything, probably about 25, 30,000.
Wow.
And that's with
Mm.
food and everything included. Yeah, like that's, yeah. And then you have some that I've done one where it's not that much, where it was just simple. We went to one location, they got married in that location, and from that location, same location, they transitioned from that room, and the room just went straight to reception. So all in the
Okay.
same room. Guests just proceeded to the hallway for cocktail hour, and then they proceeded back in to go
Okay.
to, yeah, really simple chairs, one mom. It's like, no, no. It was like one flower, literally like one flower, a couple candle, like something like that, and I think they might have spent maybe probably 7,000.
Okay. All right. So you know a little bit of what goes into planning a wedding. And again, if you are living in the Detroit metro area, and you just heard Whitney, her company Royal Expectations can help you plan your special day. So she deal with all type of budgets, from the lower end to the higher end, and I'm sure something in between. So it's all
Hmm.
about what you want to do, and just convey your vision and big day to them. Thank you so much, Whitney. We're gonna
Thank you for having me.
wrap it up here, and thank you for just giving us some insight to what it takes to plan a wedding, and what to what to expect, and this and the things that we should have already down, like a budget, and a realistic budget, and all of that good stuff.
Yes, yes.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Whitney, you just hold on for a minute, okay?
Okay.
And everybody else, we're gonna come back next week with another episode dealing with weddings, as our topic for the month. And we will see you next week. Hope you enjoyed everything, and have a very, very good day. Bye.
Bye.